And the GervontaDavis versus Lamont Roach rematch is reportedly happening. Things got intense during a live interview when Davis got angry at Roach. He made it clear that he wants revenge. It's part of boxing, Tank said, trying to stay calm and ignore the tension.
If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. Even that right hand that, like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of landed. He kind of rolled with it. But after that, you could see him wipe his eye. And then, right after I hit him with the jab, you could see him wipe his other eye.
The rematch is a big chance for Lamont Roach to show he can beat a champion like Tank Davis. Roach has clearly said he wants the fight as soon as possible because he knows this is his moment to make history. Right now, the much-awaited rematch is likely to happen on June 21st in Las Vegas. It promises to be an exciting fight. Both fighters are ready, and the whole boxing world is watching closely.
So the Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach rematch is being targeted for June 21st in Las Vegas. Now, it's good that they're running it back without wasting any time because Roach absolutely deserves a rematch. I mean, I thought he outboxed Tank the last time around. He came up a division as a gigantic 10-1 underdog, and he was the one on the front foot, landing his jab, the body shots, the combinations, throwing a lot more volume. I had it 7-5 Roach, and the no knockdown in round 9 was the reason it was a draw. If that knockdown was scored, that would have been a decision for Roach. But with all that being said, I do like Tank a lot more in the rematch. I thought he fought way too much on the back foot in the first fight, especially the first few rounds. He would land 1 or 2 punches per round. But as he started becoming the aggressor in the later rounds, he kept landing a lot more left hands and body shots. So Tank just needs to make this a dogfight, get into more exchanges, and that's where he'll land a lot more punches on Roach. When he's sitting on the back foot waiting for a counter, that's where Roach is comfortable and winning most of the rounds. So if Tank can fight the same way he did against Ryan Garcia, rounds 3 to 7, against Mario Barrios in the later rounds, or Frank Martin rounds 4 to 8, if he's the one on the front foot, then I do think he'll stop Roach in the rematch.
Lamont Roach has clearly said that Steve Willis should not be the referee for the rematch. This is because of the controversy over his decisions in the first fight. Many people think Willis supported Tank Davis by not counting an important moment when Davis went down on one knee. This has started a big debate among boxing experts and fans. Some believe Roach could have won if the right call had been made.
The part with the grease in the eye, that took on a life of its own. You know what I'm saying? That was a headline in the fight. One is, what did you think when he said that initially, just like the grease in the eye? But two is like, when you was in the fight, was there any point that you saw that? Like, did you see like him kind of messing with his eye, or did you have any indication that that was something that was bothering him?
No, see, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. Even that right hand that, like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of landed, he kind of rolled with it. But after that, you could see him wipe his eye. And then, right after I hit him with the jab, you could see him wipe his other eye. So it's like it was corresponding to which hand that I punched him with and exactly which eye. So it's like crazy for him to say, it's grease in my eye. And I think even when he say that, you could see me, because I'm right beside him, you could see me like, nigga, what you talking about? So,
right.
But you say you don't think he willing though.
Whatever. See, but who cares? Like, sweat gonna get in your eye, blood gonna get in your eye.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Spit fucking around and get in your eye. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like you can be like, all right, time out, ref. Hold on,
Take no
ref.
time out.
You can't do that.
Right. Would you be cool with Steve Willis doing the next fight?
Hell no.
He can't do the next fight.
No, he can't do the next fight.
Right.
No.
Pops, it's a no?
Hell no.
Yeah, fuck that
Fuck
nigga.
yeah.
You know how many
put Coach Ben on him, man. He lucky he ain't running Coach Ben after that fight.
But look how many times he fight up though. Right. The knee, him going to the corner to get assistance, like who knows? Not saying that they did any cheating like that. But like he wiped his face with a towel. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do none of that.
Right.
That's a disqualification. You turned your back on the ref after you took a knee. Usually the ref will be like, all right, he don't want to fight no more. Fight's off.
One of the biggest controversies in the first fight was when Davis took a knee, but the referee did not count it as a knockdown. Many people believe this decision had a big impact on the result of the fight. The moment has been talked about a lot, with many boxing experts asking why the referee didn't make the right call. Roach and his team believe that if the referee had made the correct decision, the fight could have ended differently. The rematch between Lamont Roach and GervontaDavis is expected to be one of the biggest boxing matches in recent times. Fans are excited to see who really is the better fighter. Roach has already shown that he can compete with Davis at the top level, and many people believe he deserves another chance to settle the rivalry once and for all.
Got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? That is it. Lamont, please say that in the second fight. Any questions? You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, you got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, hey, bruh, be on that. Because here's the thing. He never hurt Roach. Roach just waited. And Roach was squared up and turned sideways. And I'm like, oh my God. I didn't think he had that. He was like, I'm like, oh my. And then he just sitting there like, you can't. I know what you're going to do because I've trained with you since we were kids. Tarver beat Roy, but he knew Roy since amateurs. Roy said he never liked fighting sparring partners because they know you so well. I should have listened to
Tank. Davis wants the rematch to happen as soon as possible, and May could be the date. Davis knows his reputation is at risk after the controversial draw against Roach. He wants to show the world that he is the better fighter and remove any doubts about his strength in the ring. A rematch is the perfect chance for him to prove himself and make things right.
We got to talk about it. So Tank officially came out and says that he wants to put this rematch as early as May. Now, if that were to happen, Lamont Roach gets a second time to prove himself. Now, in my personal opinion, his stock has already risen. He is already notable. The fact that he went toe-to-toe with Tank on a decision that ended in a draw, whether he loses this second fight or not won't even matter. Because he's directly in line to go against the Keyshawn Davis, the Shakur Stevensons, and etc., the Devin Haney's, and etc. I can see him moving up and going against a Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia or somebody like that. So many people to fight. Lamont Roach has definitely proven himself. But let's talk about something else. And that is the hairstylist situation. In my humble opinion, I believe she should have been quiet. As a hairstylist, there was nothing for you to say. No fan in boxing was gonna look at them like, I don't want her to braid my hair. No one would have said that. But she hurt herself when she came out and publicly made multiple claims, got all his receipts that no one needed, no one asked for, saying, oh, this had no grease or oil in it. No one cares. Nobody even believes it. Sometimes it's best to remain quiet. But you guys let me know in the comments. Should she have remained quiet, or should she have did what she did, which is spoke up? You let me know.
Yet before the fight, many fans and boxing experts didn't realize how good Lamont Roach was. But his performance against Davis completely changed their minds. Roach's ability to fight evenly with one of boxing's most dangerous punchers has made him a rising star. Stephen A. Smith, a famous sports commentator, admitted that he underestimated Roach. He said he thought Davis would win by knockout, but he was surprised by Roach's toughness and skill.
I expected to see a knockout. I expected to see it come at the hands of Gervonta Tank Davis against a dude that I thought was undersized, that I thought was not on the same level. And my God, was I wrong. So I thought it was apropos that on this particular day, more than a week after Lamont Roach showed up at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, and let everybody know, yo, I'm no joke either. Y'all don't know who the hell I am. I'm here to reintroduce him to the world. A guy that many believe should be the lightweight champion of the world in the sport of boxing, the one and only Lamont Roach joins me right.
A rematch between Davis and Roach is very likely, especially since Tank has said he wants to do it again. However, it's not clear if this will be Davis's next fight. He has other possible opponents and might fight someone else first before giving Roach another chance. Still, fans really want the rematch to happen as soon as possible.
What do you do that you didn't do the first time? Is that a valid question?
Well, I don't know if he pitched a shutout, but he definitely fought a perfect game. Perfect fight for him, for that fight, right? So above and beyond what we've ever seen from him, something that people who knew him and knew him personally knew that he has that in him, but being able to do it on the big stage underneath those lights, that's a whole different thing. He was able to do it. You know, it was packed in there. It was 19,000. I was in the room. I mean, they were literally booing him when he was on the Megatron above the ring. You know, so for him to walk into hostile territory, perform the way that he performed from beginning to end, I mean, I tip my hat. It was amazing. But in terms of pitching a shutout, I don't agree. It was a very, very close fight.
No, but what I mean by it is the perfect fight. Can he elevate from that?
Yeah. No, I absolutely understand. So in terms of can he elevate his performance? Yes and no. I don't think he can do anything that he was once he really found his rhythm better, because I think that was literally his catch and shoot, his rolling, his ability to catch those punches, his mindset when he did get touched, his ability to walk through. But I think he could be a little smarter in the way that he cuts off the quadrants of a 12-rounder. Understanding what a 12-rounder and how to fight a 12-rounder is a skill that takes time. You have to go 12 a bunch of times. You have to be world-class guys. Being able to be a little busier for early on to make sure that you understand that you are the B-side. You need to make sure these judges absolutely know without a doubt in their mind that you won that round. Being a little more aggressive early on, letting the hands go a little earlier, putting the exclamation on the points in the early rounds the way they did it the later rounds, I think will make a big difference in how he could actually improve on what he did the first time.
Admitted that the boxing world owes Roach an apology for doubting him. This praise from a respected boxing expert shows just how great Roach's performance really was. Interview. A rematch between Tank and Roach is very likely, especially since Tank has said he wants to do it again. However, it's not clear if this will be his next fight. Tank has other names on his list, and he might want to prove himself in a different fight first before facing Roach again.
The team right back. I'm believing him. I didn't see him hurt or anything like that. I get that part. I saw him hurt when he got popped with a counter from Lamont Roach, and he stumbled backwards because he got hit with a shot while throwing a punch in an earlier round. So I'm certainly not going to do that. Here's the important point to mention. All of us got to stand down and give Lamont Roach an apology. I thought that brother was going to get beat down because I saw a dude that was a bantamweight champion. I said, why are you moving up to fight this guy? Why is GervontaDavis taking this fight? This guy's too small. What the hell is going on? He was a featherweight champion. You're a lightweight. What the hell is going on? Why would you take that fight? I didn't understand it. What I didn't know is that once Lamont Roach stepped into the ring, he would be the bigger fighter. What I didn't know is that once he was in the ring and he looked like the bigger fighter, he fought like the bigger fighter because, ladies and gentlemen, from opening bell, he walked right to GervontaDavis, walked right to him and stayed in his face all night long. If he backed up at all, ladies and gentlemen, it was 5% of the
Roach. Bernie has stressed the importance of Roach improving his approach in the rematch. While Roach fought well, Bernie pointed out that there were times when he could have been more aggressive.
He wasn't wilding like usual, right?
Yeah.
And the rematch, he'll be able to prove himself. I don't really believe there was a reason to call out a knockdown if you don't call Roach's shit a knockdown as well. They both was on the knee, pause. They both took a knee. So it cancels each other's out. It's either both are knockdowns or none. And neither are. So what we talking about?
No,
They definitely hate Tank. That part is a fact.
Nah,
I don't. I'm saying
not
in
saying
general.
us.
In general.
I'm just saying, like, couldn't wait.
He got to Mayweather level where people
fine.
hate him.
When you
Yeah.
do well enough, people look for you
Success breeds
to.
that.
Yeah, that's good.
Success breeds that.
Yeah,
When you
that's a
it's
fact.
either they love you or they hate you. There's no in-betweens. No longer indifferent for you because everyone knows you.
Famous commentator Joe Rogan shared his opinion on one of the biggest moments in the fight, when Davis took a knee in the 9th round. Rogan said that if a fighter chooses to go down on one knee, it should be counted as a knockdown. His comments have added to the ongoing debate about whether the referee made the right decision during the fight.
You know, but he did good, Lamar Roach. But only thing, like I say, if he gonna go back and wish he threw his hands more, he might start getting mad at himself and realize that he when he watches the fight, it feel good to hear everybody say that. But when you go watch the fight and you realize, I let him slide too much. Like even the last round, he's standing there posing, looking at the man like and then he got caught with a jab. That wasn't good.
So, you talked about the takeaways of how Lamont could be better in the rematch.
Many boxing experts and former professionals believe that if a rematch happens, Roach will have the advantage. His performance in the first fight showed some weaknesses in Davis's game plan. If Roach can take advantage of those weaknesses in the rematch, he could win the fight.
That was trash. Well, I thought it was a good fight. You didn't think
great
it was...
fight, but I just champion guy taking a knee, talking about greasing his hair.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I'm like, yo, how you just in the middle of the fight just go wipe your face?
Also, here's the deal: if you take a knee, that's a knockdown.
That's a knockdown.
That's a
Subtract 2, right?
You got hit with a jab.
Yeah.
You took a knee,
and then you walked off.
Exactly. That is a knockdown.
Yeah.
So I think they're reviewing that right now.
Nah, that guy should have lost, maybe.
Well, I feel like if they do review it and they do judge it as a knockdown, which it was clearly a knockdown to everybody,
knockdown.
You take a knee, that's a knockdown.
If you
I
walk
think
off
they will probably give it to Lamont.
This is a very interesting rule. They have a power slap that kind of talks about what you guys were just discussing.
Then Davis's S trainer has recognized Roach's talent, saying, they knew about his abilities before the fight. He also mentioned that their original strategy for the first fight was well thought out, which means they may not make big changes for the rematch. This suggests that Davis's team still believes in their original plan, but will need to execute it better next time.
GervontaDavis versus Lamont Roach is staying as a draw, which is bullshit because GervontaDavis obviously took a knee and it should have been counted as a knockdown, but it wasn't. But this just means that Lamont Roach is going to take GervontaDavis in the rematch, unless GervontaDavis ducks the rematch with Lamont Roach because he knows he's going to get his ass whooped once again.
If I get touched, I'm coming on that ass.
Boxing analyst Showbiz the Adult shared his opinion on the knee incident. He suggested that Tank Davis took a knee after getting hit by Roach, not because he was hurt, but to stop Roach's momentum. This view adds another angle to the ongoing debate about whether Davis's move was a smart tactic or a sign that he was in trouble.
Surprised by Roach and Tank. What do you think the biggest surprise was in the fight?
It wasn't a surprise because we know Roach. It wasn't a surprise. Roach can fight. A lot of people think because a person is not popular, that they don't exist. There's fighters out there that can rumble. They just got to get the opportunity, you know?
Speaking of rematches, Jalil Hackett is getting his opportunity again to fight the guy that he had a controversial loss to. It'll be happening in Florida, I think, next week?
March 15th, I think.
Let's talk about
I'm rocking a major shirt now.
Major.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, how's that rematch look like, and then what's the difference makers coming into this fight?
The first fight, I thought, everybody thought Jalil won. We just got to turn, hit the gears a little harder. We ain't really got to change too much. Just got to put the icing on the cake, Put the icing on the cake this time, that's all. He did enough to win the last fight, but we was in somebody else's territory,
This time around, being in Florida, do you feel like it's a mutual zone?
Yeah. It's more of an even playing field in Florida.
Okay. Do you feel like he needs a stoppage to win the fight due to what happened the first time?
Not necessarily a stoppage. A stoppage is good, but not.
The fight ended in controversy, leaving fans unsure about who really won. A second fight would give both boxers the chance to settle. The debate for good. This fight could be a key moment in both of their careers.
Gervonta doing this shows that it wasn't an outside strange occurrence, that it may just be a part of his DNA. For him to get hit in amateurs and then take a step back and take a knee when he obviously wasn't hurt, it just shows to me that instead of gritting it out, all right, and possibly get knocked out or taking those chances, he'd rather take a knee to disrupt the momentum and then start over. That's how I'm taking it. It can be a great strategy, or it can be the bully complex. That when you meet somebody and they're not fearing you, or they're not retreating or backing away from you, and they're showing poise and the ability to withstand your output and give some back, like any bully, they kind of